Listen, there's a fire burning deep inside anyone who's ever tried to shake up the system, who's dared to build something real in this world of noise and sameness. But here's the cold truth nobody wants to admit. When it comes to crowdfunding, it's not the insiders, those who lived and breathed the projects, sat in the boardrooms, or hoarded the inside knowledge, who make the biggest waves. No, it's the outsiders, the ones standing on the edges, the ones nobody expected, who take over the stage while the so-called experts stay silent, frozen by fear or sinking in complacency. Why is that? Because being an insider isn't an advantage, it's a cage. Think about it. Founders, investors, professionals, leaders, all stuck in their neat little boxes, playing by rules written long ago for a world that no longer exists. They carry the weight of expectations, burdens of reputation and legacy, fears of failure and judgment so thick you could cut it with a knife. They hide in silence because speaking up means shaking the boat, admitting vulnerability, risking everything they worked for. The insiders know the system's cracks, but they're too afraid to run their fingers through them and pull it apart. Their silence is not passivity, it's survival, but a survival that kills innovation, that strangles the unborn revolution. Meanwhile, outsiders break through because they come with nothing to lose and everything to prove. They stand outside the noise, untouched by the choking grip of tradition and expectation. They don't ask for permission. They don't follow the scripts handed down to them. They rewrite the playbook by sheer will, by raw vision, by refusing to accept the world as it is. Outsiders carry a wild, burning hunger, the kind that forces them to tear down walls, derail systems, and build from the ashes. And that hunger? It's a powerful magnet, pulling the crowd's eyes, the funding, the energy and momentum that insiders desperately need but are too trapped to find. If this feels like a punch to the gut, that's because it is. It's raw truth. The system you're trying to game, the networks you're trying to crack, the voices you're struggling to hear, they're watching you dim yourself. They expect you to play small, to blend in, to stay comfortable in the shadows their rules have placed you in. But deep down, where the fire really lives, you know that's a lie. Crowdfunding doesn't reward safety or quiet control. It screams for disruption, for bravery, for raw, unfiltered connection. It's not the polished pitch decks or the bland PowerPoints that win hearts and wallets. It's the story that shakes the soul, the mission that refuses to be ignored. Here's the brutal secret insiders miss. Your greatest asset isn't your knowledge of the system. It's your ability to break from it, to unlearn what you've been taught, and dare to build a new framework that doesn't just work within the old game, but annihilates its limits. To stop whispering the same tired stories and start shouting the radical vision that lives inside you. To hunt the rare allies who see the world like you do, not the masses who expect a rerun. Real power comes from forging connections with those who dare to be different, those who reject the fake comfort of consensus and want to create what comes next. That's how you escape the cage. You need to fight against the biggest enemy of innovation, silence. Silence is the vacuum that sucks the life out of ideas, the poison that kills the spark before it can flare into a blaze. Insiders stay silent for many reasons: fear of failure, protection of status, dread of the unknown. But that silence doesn't protect you. It chains you. Your silence means missed opportunities to rally the right investors who crave the real story, to inspire the right founders who ignite radical change, to build a community that shares fierce fire, not safe mediocrity. But breaking your silence takes more than guts. It takes strategy, something the outsiders understand instinctively. The outsiders follow a different code. Be sovereign, be relentless, be critical. They question every assumption, dismantle every sacred cow, and rebuild their networks with the few who burn as hot as they do. They don't waste time shouting to a crowd that never listens. They look for the few who matter. And those few become an unstoppable force of synergy, a network that's greater than the sum of its parts. If you can find those few, align your energy with theirs, your crowdfunding campaigns won't just raise money, they'll shift ecosystems. This is where the power lies, in redefining what it means to be a founder, an investor, a leader. It's not about titles or prestige. It's about becoming the person who dares to burn the rulebook and rebuild from radical truth. It's about relentless patience, because transformation is a long game. It's about every single day choosing to be uncomfortable, to question the comfortable lies you've been told, to peel away the layers of noise until what remains is pure, raw potential. That's the call for those outsiders, but also the challenge for every insider who refuses to stay silent. Now imagine a world where this crowd, this small but fierce few of founders, investors, and visionaries, stop retreating into silence and start connecting with one another unapologetically. Imagine these rare spirits linking their unique brilliance into an autonomous network like no other. This network doesn't ask for conformity or sameness. It thrives on contrast, on difference harnessed and united by shared purpose. Here, misaligned brilliance finds alignment. Here, the lonely genius finds a fierce tribe. Here, crowdfunding isn't a static battleground, but a launching pad for world-changing leaps, powered by human connections so profound that every dollar raised is a spark in a wildfire of transformation. This is what the insiders fear, not the outsiders themselves, but what the outsiders represent: the end of their comfortable illusions, the collapse of the old world that gave them safe harbor. The fury of the outsider isn't just rebellion, it's freedom. Freedom from the false promises of equality that reward mediocrity. Freedom from the hunger-killing comfort that chains the self. Freedom from systems that don't serve but substitute. This wild freedom is what crowdfunding needs, the kind of freedom that can only be wielded by those ready to unlearn, to burn down their own limitations, to become sovereign creators of their reality. But this freedom isn't given, it's seized. It's the hard battle of those who stare down the noise and refuse to kneel. It's the silent revolution that starts with one voice deciding that silence is no longer an option. It's about being fiercely selective with your alliances, building not crowds but movements, circles of warriors who get the cost and demand the prize. It's about patience, because greatness doesn't come wrapped in instant gratification, but grows in the slow, painful alchemy of persistence. So ask yourself, where do you stand? Are you an insider trapped in the quiet echo chamber of your own doubts and the system's hollow promises? Or are you the outsider burning with a vision so bright it shatters the darkness? The answer changes everything. If change doesn't come from the center, if progress blooms on the edges, then your place is not in silence. It's at the forefront. To lead, to speak, to connect with the rare few who share your fire. To turn your crowdfunding endeavors not into another campaign, but into a movement of liberation from old rules, old fears, old silences. Here's the key: don't just raise funds, raise essence. Don't just play the game, rewrite it. Don't just aim for belonging, aim for becoming. Because the insiders who stay silent, their time is over. The outsiders who dare, their moment is now. Crowdfunding isn't just money. It's a battleground of voices, visions, and breakthroughs waiting for those who will refuse to whisper any longer. Refuse to be hidden. Refuse to be another silent insider. The world may not have a place for you yet, but together, the rare few will build one. The system's walls are cracking, and when the outsiders start roaring, the insiders will have no choice but to listen, or get left behind in silence.